The Vex-High delegation materialized on the bridge of their flagship, with the characteristic shimmer of their quantum transport technology. Admiral Zethkara's 6 eyes surveyed the primitive blue world rotating below, its surface teeming with what their sensors indicated were 7 billion humans. Such a small number for such a resource-rich planet. Curious, Zethkara mused, her translator rendering the alien concepts into something approaching human comprehension. They've barely colonized their own moon, yet their planet holds enough rare minerals to fuel our empire for a millennium. The Vex-High had conquered 47 star systems in the past century. Each encounter followed the same pattern. Arrive, demonstrate superior technology, negotiate for resources, depart with cargo holds full of exotic materials. Sometimes the primitive species resisted initially, but a few demonstrations of their plasma cannons always convinced them to be reasonable. Earth would be no different. General Sarah Chen stood in the war room beneath NORAD, surrounded by screens displaying impossible readings. The alien ships had appeared 3 days ago. 12. Massive vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Their request for negotiation had come through every communication channel simultaneously, in perfect English, Mandarin, Arabic, and dozens of other languages. They want our lithium, our rare earth elements, our uranium, Chen reported to the assembled world leaders via secure video link. In exchange, they offer what they call protection and limited access to their technology. President Morrison's face was grim on the main screen. What's the assessment, General? Their ships are beyond our current capability to damage, Chen admitted. Our best nuclear arsenals would barely scratch their hulls. But, she paused, looking at the data streaming across her tablet. They're overconfident. They've made assumptions about us based on our technology level, not our psychology. Chancellor Weber leaned forward. Meaning? Meaning they think we'll roll over like every other species they've encountered. They don't understand that humans don't negotiate when someone points a gun at our home. The first Vex-High shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere with ceremonial precision, landing in the neutral zone established in the Nevada desert. Zethkara emerged with her diplomatic escort, expecting to find the usual collection of trembling primitives ready to discuss terms. Instead, she found General Chen waiting with a small military honor guard, standing at perfect attention under the desert sun. The human female's posture conveyed neither fear nor submission, something that immediately caught the Admiral's attention. I am Admiral Zethkara of the Vex-High Empire, she announced, her towering form casting a long shadow. You will address me as, I know who you are, Chen interrupted, her voice carrying across the desert with quiet authority. I'm General Sarah Chen, representing the unified military forces of Earth. We've reviewed your proposal. Zethkara's translator struggled with the human's tone. There was something it couldn't quite parse. Then you understand the wisdom of cooperation. Your species lacks the capability to resist our requirements. Chen smiled, and something about that expression made the Admiral's skin crawl. Admiral, you've made a fundamental error in your assessment. Explain. You assumed we'd react like the other species you've conquered. You assumed we'd weigh our options rationally, consider the cost-benefit analysis, and choose survival over principle. Chen's smile widened. But you see, humans are not rational when someone threatens our home. The general raised her hand, and hidden sensors detected the signal immediately. Across the Earth, humanity's response began. The Vex-High had excellent shields designed to deflect energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. What they didn't expect was for every major city on Earth to simultaneously launch everything that could fly, not at their ships but past them. 10,000 nuclear warheads, conventional missiles, and repurposed spacecraft rocketed into space, their trajectories carefully calculated not to strike the alien vessels, but to detonate in specific patterns around them. The explosions created electromagnetic pulses that interfered with Vex-High sensors, while simultaneously broadcasting a very clear message. This is what we can do in one coordinated strike. Chen's voice transmitted to every Vex-High ship. Now imagine what we'll do. If you don't leave immediately, Admiral Zethkara watched the display with growing alarm. The primitive humans had just demonstrated not only global coordination on an unprecedented scale, but also the willingness to expend their entire nuclear arsenal as a warning shot. "Admiral," her tactical officer reported, "their weapons couldn't penetrate our shields, but the coordination required for this display suggests—" "I know what it suggests," Zethkara snapped. "They're insane." "Sir, we're receiving additional transmissions from the planet's surface." The main screen flickered to life, showing dozens of human faces from around the globe. Military leaders, politicians, and civilians all speaking in unison. "This is Earth. You have 10 minutes to leave our system. If you return, we will not fire a warning shot." In the depths of space stations humanity hadn't known existed, automated systems that had been quietly built over decades activated. The humans hadn't been idle since first detecting radio signals from other civilizations. Project Prometheus had been their answer, not just a defensive system, but a statement of intent. Massive railguns emerged from concealment on the dark side of Earth's moon. Fusion-powered missiles that had been assembled in the asteroid belt began their long journey toward the edge of the solar system. Most importantly, the dozen-generation ships that had been secretly under construction for the past 50 years received their activation codes. If Earth fell, humanity would survive, and humanity would remember. Chen's voice carried across all channels one final time. "Admiral, you've conquered 47 star systems, but those species chose to live on their knees rather than die on their feet. We're not those species. We'd rather burn our own world than hand it over to you. The question is, are our resources worth facing an enemy that would choose mutual destruction over submission?" The silence stretched for exactly 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Then, without another word, the Vex-High fleet simply vanished. Years later, other alien civilizations would speak in hushed tones about the Mad Ones of Sol, the species that had faced extinction and responded not with surrender, but with the promise of apocalypse. The Vex-High Empire would add a new protocol to their expansion handbook: avoid systems containing self-destructive species. Earth continued spinning, its 7 billion inhabitants having collectively decided that some things were worth more than survival itself. Freedom was one of them.